Thanksgiving dinner at the Preston estate had always been a battlefield of subtle judgments, but this year, it reached a new level of absurdity. Seated at the far end of their sprawling dining table, I watched as my mother-in-law, Eleanor, meticulously examined my choices in life, with my husband Andrew nodding in agreement like a puppet on strings. "Rebecca, really?" Eleanor sighed dramatically, carving into her meticulously prepared organic turkey. "When will this coffee shop thing end? The Prestons have been investment bankers for 3 generations. If only she knew that, while she carefully orchestrated this dinner, I had been in clandestine meetings with Starbucks executives, watching them debate over acquiring the rights to my groundbreaking coffee brewing process." "The shop's doing fine," I replied quietly, thinking of the patent documents in my bag and the offer letter that would change everything. "Fine," Andrew scoffed. "You're working 16 hours a day in that cramped little shop while my colleagues' wives are on charity boards. Do you have any idea how awkward it is when I have to tell people that my wife's a barista?" I could have told them that my small coffee shop, Bean and Gone, had just been valued at $100 million, or that my cold brew method and customized roasting technique had coffee moguls in a bidding war, or that the humble storefront was about to spark a global coffee revolution. But instead, I took another sip of wine and let them carry on. "And the smell?" Eleanor wrinkled her nose. "Coffee roasting in our neighborhood? The country club members have started noticing. Mrs. Vandermir even asked if we'd opened a factory." My sister-in-law Charlotte smirked. "At least she's not asking for money anymore. Remember when she wanted us to invest $20,000 for coffee beans? That would have bought 2% of the company, which is now worth $2 million. But Charlotte was too busy trying to launch her latest failed boutique to see the potential. "Actually," I started, but Andrew cut me off. "Speaking of investments," he announced, adjusting his Hermes tie, "I have some big news. The firm's making me head of a new beverage division. We're looking to acquire some major coffee chains." Eleanor beamed. "That's wonderful, darling. See, Rebecca, that's what success in coffee looks like." My phone buzzed quietly in my lap. A message from Starbucks. "CEO. Board approved full amount, $100 million, plus royalties. Lawyers ready, adding $10 million signing bonus if we announce tomorrow. Your process is revolutionary. Tell them about the Starbucks deal." "Dear," Eleanor urged, "what a splendid presentation you've prepared." Andrew puffed up with pride. "Next week, we're meeting their executive team. Gonna show them how real business is done, not these trendy artisanal coffee shops." I raised an eyebrow. "Starbucks?" "Yes, Starbucks," he replied with a patronizing tone. "Though I wouldn't expect you to understand corporate acquisitions at that level. We're talking billions, not tip jar money." My phone buzzed again, another text from my lawyer. "News embargo lifting in 3, 2, 1. Suddenly, everyone's phones went off with breaking news alerts. Andrew froze mid-sentence as he read the headline. Eleanor's crystal wine glass hovered in midair. The headline from Business Insider was blunt. "Starbucks to acquire revolutionary coffee process for $100 million. Small shop owner disrupts industry." Charlotte's fork clattered onto her expensive dinner plate. "Rebecca, why is your picture in this article?" I reached into my bag and pulled out the Starbucks contract, sliding it across Eleanor's pristine mahogany table. "Karma, sometimes, is best served with a smooth crema." $100 million. Andrew choked on his wine as he read the contract. "For a coffee recipe?" "Not just a recipe," I corrected him, finally finding my voice. "A revolutionary brewing process that reduces bitterness, maximizes caffeine content, and enhances flavor profiles. Plus a proprietary roasting method that cuts production costs by 60%. Eleanor snatched the contract from Andrew's trembling hands. "This has to be some kind of mistake. You run a coffee shop?" "Actually," I pulled out my iPad. "Let me show you what I really do." I cast my company's presentation onto the dining room smart TV, the same presentation that had Starbucks executives fighting over my brewing method just last week. "Our process has been tested by 3 major labs," I explained as graphs and data filled the screen. "The results show a 40% increase in customer satisfaction and a 200% increase in repeat business. We're not just selling coffee, we're changing the way it's made." Charlotte's face lost all color. But your little shop is just a proof of concept." I created a testing ground for what will become Starbucks' new global standard. Those tip jar profits Andrew mentioned? We pulled in $3 million last year from just one location. Andrew nervously scrolled through news on his phone. This can't be real. My presentation for next week has been canceled, I replied, pulling up another email. They're occupied with another acquisition right now, though they did mention your firm's analysis of the coffee industry was, how did they phrase it? Refreshingly outdated. Eleanor clutched her pearl necklace in disbelief. But the smell, the country club. How are we supposed to get used to this? I grinned. Well, part of my deal with Starbucks involves transforming the old factory near your country club into our first innovation center. We'll be testing new roasting techniques there every day. Her face went white. Not the old Wilson building. But I've been trying to get it demolished for years. It ruins the neighborhood's charm. I know, I replied sweetly. That's why I made sure it was included in the deal. Don't worry, we'll invite all the country club members to the grand opening. They can finally witness firsthand where that factory smell comes from. Just then, my phone buzzed again. CNBC requested an interview, and the headline caught everyone's attention. Coffee shop to corporate empire. How one woman's innovation sparked a bidding war. Wait, Charlotte looked up from her phone. These articles mention seed funding. Where did you get the money to start this? Andrew's face turned ashen. The inheritance, he whispered. Your grandmother's inheritance, the one you insisted on wasting on the coffee shop. The same inheritance you tried to get me to invest in your firm's sure thing cryptocurrency fund? I asked, feigning innocence. How did that work out, by the way? Before he could respond, the dining room doors swung open and the butler announced, Mr. Howard Schultz, CEO of Starbucks Corporation. Eleanor nearly fainted. Howard entered, impeccably dressed, holding a familiar coffee cup. Rebecca, I hope you don't mind me stopping by. I couldn't wait until tomorrow. I had to tell you in person, the board is thrilled. And this coffee, he took another sip, is going to change everything. Andrew stood so quickly that he knocked over his wine glass. Mr. Schultz, about next week's presentation. Ah, yes, Howard cut him off with a smile. We'll have to cancel that, but I hear HR is hiring. They'll need people to manage the paperwork for all the new baristas we're training in Rebecca's method. The next hour was delicious chaos. Howard and I talked expansion plans at Eleanor's cherished Thanksgiving table. Charlotte tried desperately to pitch her new coffee-themed boutique. Andrew kept attempting to insert himself into the conversation, only to be politely ignored. But I wasn't finished yet. Before you go, Howard, I said, pulling out one more document, I'd like to announce the first initiative of our new Coffee Innovation Foundation. Eleanor perked up, likely expecting something country club related. We're launching a scholarship program for underprivileged entrepreneurs. I continued, specifically aimed at small business owners who've been told their dreams were an embarrassment to their families. The first recipient? The daughter of Eleanor's beloved Mrs. Vandermir, the one who wanted to open a food truck but was told it would shame the family name. The aftermath was spectacular. Andrew's firm dissolved its beverage division after losing the Starbucks deal. Charlotte's boutique never even opened. Turns out, coffee-themed clothing doesn't sell well when you're not tied to the coffee industry. Eleanor had to watch as her country club friends lined up at my humble original shop, proudly declaring how they always knew I'd make it big. The Innovation Center opened last month. You can see it from the country club's golf course. The gleaming steel and glass structure with Bean and Gong Innovation Center, a Starbucks partnership in bold letters. The scent of roasting coffee wafts across the ninth hole at exactly 8:00 a.m. every morning. Last week, a young barista pitched me her idea for a new type of tea brewing process. Her family thinks she's wasting her business degree. I wrote her a check right then and there. The Mimo line read, "For those who dare to brew differently." Andrew filed for divorce soon after the Starbucks deal closed. He's now working in his firm's satellite office in Alaska. I guess the coffee shop chains there haven't heard of my brewing process yet. As for me, I still work 16-hour days, but now I oversee a global coffee revolution, not just serving lattes. Although when I visit our original shop, I sometimes make a special brew. A complex, bitter drink I call the mother-in-law. It's an acquired taste, much like success. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay amazed.